Hey, Tree Talkin Time listeners. This is not an episode of Tree Talkin Time. This is something that I did for my wife's family. I sat down with my wife's grandmother and my wife's great aunt, Ruth and Nellie. Ruth passed away this past summer, and this is so her daughters, her grandsons and granddaughters, and her great grandsons and granddaughters can hear a little bit about how she was brought up and raised, and along with Aunt Nellie and her kids and grandkids and everything as well. So just kind of how these two sisters were raised in the mountains of Tennessee. A little family genealogy history lesson, and it's nothing related to hunting. There's one little very short mention of coon hunting, but it's not an episode of Tree Talking Time. If you're interested in hearing a couple of ladies talk about their childhood, then enjoy. But otherwise, this one's for the family, and it's just here because it makes it easily accessible for everybody to listen to it whenever they want. Normal episode will be out Tuesday. Thank you very much. Start off with just introductions. Who you are?
Nellie Emerson.
Ruth Little.
And you guys are sisters.
We are.
How old are you guys?
I am 82. She'll be 80 in June.
I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about, like we were talking about a month ago, I guess, just your upbringing and, how you were raised and how things were different then. And
Wow, were they different then?
I'd say so.
Yep.
We were very poor, but we always had plenty to eat. We got to school. I don't know how Mom and Dad ever did it, but they fed 9 kids.
Now, where are you guys on the lineup of the 9 kids?
Okay, we're the bottom 3.
Okay.
Barbara's the baby. She'll be 78 in May. Nellie's next to the youngest. Then me. Then Yancel. Yancel's 3 years older than me. And then my brother Lossie. Right?
Yeah.
And then my sister Polly. And then Joyce. I forgot Joyce. Joyce is next. And then Polly. And then Harold. No, I left out Ernest. Oh my, so many of us.
I know, hard to keep track of you.
Okay. Barbara, Nellie, Ruth, Yancel, Ernest, right?
Yes.
And then
So there's 5.
Then was it Lossie? Or Polly?
I think Lossie was first, then Polly,
Then Harold.
then Harold. Harold was the oldest.
Okay.
And the orneriest. Well, maybe not Yancel's pretty ornery.
Yeah.
Our baby brother, which is older than us.
But he was the baby boy.
Yeah. Spoiled rotten.
Well, he could do no wrong in Mom's eyes.
Not in my mother's eyes. Well, when we lost Ernest, Dad and some of his farm buddies used to go hunting on Saturday night. And they went hunting, and the boys found a cap pistol. And they brought it home, they had a smokehouse room, the boys did. They put it up on a chest, and it was over a book. So one of them pulled out the book because they wanted Mom to read them this story. And it went off and shot Ernest through the side.
Oh, jeez.
And killed him. I remember hollering for Dad. We finally got him. I don't know where he was hunting. I don't know where.
How old was he? How old was Ernest?
Ernest was 12 and a half, I think.
Yes.
It's awful.
After that, Yancel could do no wrong. Her only baby boy left.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, my older brother and brothers were there, but it was so sad.
Oh, I bet. Couldn't imagine. Now, where are you from?
Tennessee.
We're at in Tennessee.
we're at in Tennessee. Around Bristol,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
We lived in Bristol, right? Not right
Yeah.
in Bristol, but out in the suburbs.
We lived about 2 miles.
Out
3.
of Bristol, yeah.
Okay. Not too far from Virginia then.
Mm-mm.
You're
Here's Virginia,
Mhm.
and here's Tennessee.
Basically like me living in Maryland.
Right, exactly.
Well, Dad was from Mountain City, right? Or was he?
Mountain City or it's that other little town around where we go to Barbara's? Damascus.
Damascus.
Somewhere
He
around.
could have been from Damascus.
Because we used to walk over that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
What was your dad's name?
Wilburn Ira Campbell.
I was about to say, what was his? Because I don't know your name.
Campbell was our last name.
What was your mom's name?
Laura Ellen Hicks Campbell. She was a character.
I've heard.
You do not lie to her. You lie to her, you're in big trouble. I mean, big trouble, right, Nellie?
Yes.
We told our younger sister one time, just keep your mouth shut. Well, more than once, but she never did she?
No. She never learned.
That's funny.
If she got a spanking, she got 2, maybe 3. Because she kept talking back.
She'd say, but Mom, it's the truth. I'm like, Barbara, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. But she never did.
Now, what did your parents do as far as work?
Farmers.
How big was your farm? You know?
Not much. We didn't really have much. Mom had like an acre of garden.
Mhm.
Maybe 2. I don't know. It was forever and ever and ever there was Rosewood.
Seemed like it
Like
anyway.
you said, she had to feed 9 kids, though, so.
I know. And she'd pick greens. She did a little bit of everything to keep us fed.
I'm sure.
We canned and canned and canned and picked berries and picked berries and picked berries. And I was scared to death of a snake or a worm.
Now, your house, did it have a wood floor? Were you?
Had a wood floor, yeah.
Did your dad, when you said he farmed, did he just grow corn, tobacco, raise hogs? I mean, what did he do?
A little bit of everything.
Okay.
We had hogs.
We grow tobacco too.
Yes, we grew tobacco.
That was real big down in that area.
Yeah. Remember, they didn't make you get the worms off the
No, they didn't make me get the worms off of there. I couldn't. I just stayed back and screamed.
But I had to.
I couldn't do it. I just could not do it. I tried. Finally, Daddy gave me a pair of flowers, and I'd take them off. But you had to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time with that. I don't like to kill anything.
And we grow corn.
Oh, Lord, just tell him what we did that one time.
One time, we went to the cornfield with Dad,
He had the horse and the plow in the barn.
and we had to hoe the corn,
Chop the weeds off of the
and
row.
the rows were so long when Dad, we couldn't see him.
We couldn't keep up with him.
And so we'd pick our hose up and run just as fast as we could until we seen him coming back.
Then
We
we'd get
didn't
over there and
hoe.
just chopping them weeds like crazy.
So you'd have
Uh,
big gaps where you didn't do?
Dad didn't care what we did.
No, he
Never
knew.
yelled at us.
He knew that we wasn't hoeing, getting the weeds. So the next, he told Mom that we kept up with him. Well, the
She
next day,
inspected. Oh, Lord.
we had to go over our job and get the weeds out. Because she was with us, so
Yeah. She made
She
sure.
came with us and made sure we did it.
Yep.
She said, now, girls, listen, this is a lesson for you. If you'd have done it right the first time, you wouldn't have to be out here in this heat now.
Mm-hmm.
Which was true. We knew it was true.
That's funny. Now, did you guys have a car back then, or?
Oh,
No, I don't remember us ever having a car. My brother-in-law had a car. But I don't remember us ever having a car.
no.
If we went anywhere, we went on a tractor.
Mhm.
We did have a tractor, a work tractor.
Mhm.
No, you said-
Daddy would let us ride up on the fenders,
Mhm.
go to the store sometimes.
I'm guessing though that he also farmed with horses. Seeing you said he had a horse and a plow.
Yeah, we had a horse plow.
Gotcha.
Couldn't have done without that horsey and that plow. And once we got a tractor, Daddy let me drive it sometimes. Let you drive it sometimes too, didn't he?
No, I don't never remember driving.
You don't remember driving?
No.
So you said your mom canned a lot. What did you guys can a lot of?
Okay, what was the thing we canned most of? Probably berries, because we could pick
Yeah.
those.
Mm-hmm.
And Mom had up in the end of the garden, she had a raspberry patch.
Okay.
And then we would go pick blackberries.
Mhm.
And then sometimes my grandpa was stingy. He wouldn't give you nothing, would he, Nellie?
No.
He wouldn't even let you pick up a good apple. You had to pick up the rotten ones and eat them
Jeez.
on the other side, you know. He was
Is that your mom's dad or your dad's dad?
my mom's dad.
Okay. Did they live close by?
He did.
No, they weren't really close.
They were about a mile and a half away.
Mile and a half to 2 miles. But we had to walk.
They had all these yellow cherry trees. But if we ate one, you'd have thought it was a penny gold. Oh, he was so mad at us. I just kept eating when he wasn't looking.
They grew cane too.
Okay.
And Mom made molasses. Everybody in the country came to bring Mom their molasses to make.
Okay.
'Cause she made the best.
Interesting.
Did you ever eat molasses?
Nope.
It's kind of like a syrup, except they have a different taste to it.
Even like, maple, like actual maple, pure maple syrup is very different than the store-bought
It
stuff.
is. It sure is.
Now, what was your grandfather's name?
Dad's name was Loss.
Yeah.
Loss. Loss.
Okay.
What was Grandma's name?
Sadie.
Say.
So that's your dad's parents,
Mhm.
Loss and Sadie. Do you remember your mom's parents' name?
Thomas was Grandpa Hicks's name. And Ellen was my grandmother's name.
Okay.
She was a mean woman.
She was.
How so?
She'd say, she'd want something from what'd she call it, where we had this stuff in the cellar, I'll call it. And she'd say, get out there and get that and get it back in here. Now. Nasty lady. Wasn't she?
Yep.
She wasn't pleasant.
Now, Grandma Camel, she was.
Okay.
She was a nice lady. She didn't make us feel not wanted or
Mhm.
anything.
So you both take after Grandma Hicks, huh?
That's not even funny. I try
Not at
my
all.
best not to.
Not at all.
I try my best not to. I try to be kind to everybody. But Grandma Hicks,
She didn't like us.
She'd say, "Get in here and eat your dinner and get back out there and get to work."
Jeez. Slave
And I-
driver.
And I never even wanted to go in there to eat. Did we?
No.
I never felt welcome at that table. That's a shame.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And how far did you guys have to go to school?
About a half a mile.
More than that.
More than that.
About a mile.
How many kids were in your school?
Not too many. We had first through 8th grade, I think. There
And it
wasn't
was
that many.
all in one room.
Wasn't too many.
It's a one-room schoolhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Kestner, I still remember her. She was 3rd grade teacher. She's a good teacher. It's the only one I remember. Do you remember any other?
Nope.
Me neither.
Now, what did you guys, where'd you go after that? Did you just go to 8th grade?
No, after grade school, we had to go out to Houston Valley, which
Right.
is maybe 5 miles or something.
Okay.
We had to ride the bus.
Had to ride the bus there. And we weren't allowed to date.
Whose rule was that?
Mom and Dad's. Certainly not ours.
I didn't know if it was one of them.
No. They were both pretty much in agreement, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
If Mom said no, Dad said no. Dad said no, Mom said no.
Gotcha. That's
If
good.
we asked Mom, she said yes. We usually knew we was going to get to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Dad might say no, but usually he agreed with Mom.
Gotcha.
Not always. First time I ever wore a pair of nylons. I don't know if it was Mama or Daddy that got after me. Nellie and I used to date the same boy.
Mm-mm. There probably weren't too many boys around, were there?
Nope,
Not too many people around. So
not too many people around. Oh, and this old man, this old drunk.
Was
Oh,
her
Lord.
boyfriend.
What? He was aged. He must have been 75. Come up by the house. "Ruth, honey, I love you. Ruth, honey, I love you." All the time. I wanted to go out and strangle that man.
He's sitting in a creek. He was town or neighborhood drunk.
Mhm.
And he'd get drunk and he'd go out there and he'd sing to her.
And I was like 12.
It didn't make it. It's sitting in the middle of, and it was winter
In the
time.
creek.
And
it's a
just
miracle that he didn't get hypothermia and die out there.
Been okay with me? Well, probably not, but
Dad usually went out and put him in the corn crib to sleep it off.
he was all wet and frozen. At least Mommy got him a blanket.
Hey, do you remember that time when we had just built the house and they hadn't sealed the rafters off yet?
Mm-hmm.
He come to the house. And he was drunk, of course. And he's saying, "I'm in the jailhouse now."
Sometimes Daddy would bring him in and put him behind the stove so he wouldn't freeze to death.
Jeez.
And he'd sing, "I'm in the jailhouse now. I'm in the jailhouse now," over and over. I wanted to strangle that man.
So what were your meals like back then typically?
Brown beans, potatoes. And for breakfast, we almost always had biscuits and gravy, like Lisa had the other night, or whoever made it.
Aunt Nellie made biscuits.
Yep, she makes good biscuits.
She made tomato dumplings too.
What is a tomato dumpling?
It's where you cook the tomatoes, and then you make this dough and you drop,
Sort of like a,
sort of like chicken dumplings.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I
she
had
don't like much of anything.
You were saying something about some sort of, was it like pea cakes or something?
Bean cakes.
Bean cakes.
Mhm.
You didn't care for those either?
That's what we took to lunch for school on a biscuit.
Okay.
But I don't. Did she put anything in it besides beans?
She did. She put some spices and stuff in it, but I don't remember what.
And what did a bean cake consist of?
You take a can of beans and you smush them up, and you put whatever filling you want in there. Probably mustard and stuff to make it taste a little better. I don't really know,
Gotcha.
but it wasn't too bad. We put it in biscuits. Mom's bread was always good, wasn't it?
Hmm.
But I can't remember exactly what she put in it. I would imagine some kind of spices and mustard. I don't know if we had ketchup or not. We were very, very poor, so we probably didn't have much in there but that.
Did your house have electricity?
Yes. The pool lights like you have here.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have any other stuff. Nothing like this.
Mm-hmm. So, what made you guys move north out of Tennessee?
Well, Mom and Dad lived up here part-time off and on.
Okay.
And when we were, 16, 17, something like that,
60.
we
I was
decided we were going to
16.
stay.
Yeah.
So we got a room up in the rooming house uptown on the third floor with 5 men. So we had to get up at 5 in the morning and go down and get our shower, or else we didn't get one that day.
Mm-hmm. Now, why did your parents live up here part time?
My uncle had a mushroom. He helped with the mushrooms in
Okay.
Avondale. And he was a foreman over one floor.
Okay.
So, but that ain't what we did. We got a job in the roses.
Mm-hmm. This area used to be big for roses.
And we worked up at Thompson's. We got a job there. And this little old man that lived out here, I don't remember the street, but Dollinger. And he took us to work for a whole week for $3 for both of us. And we ate peanut butter and jelly all the time. That's all we could afford. And Alex down at the Candy Kitchen every once in a while give us a tuna fish or a P&J or something.
So you were 16 and
18.
and you guys just stayed here and your parents went home?
Yep.
How long did you guys live there? And
Until she got married.
how long was that?
Oh,
A couple of 3 years. I got married at 19.
Okay.
And Nellie and Barbara roomed together, right?
Okay. So Aunt Barbara lived up here then.
Mm-hmm.
How long did she live up here?
when did she come up here? She worked at Charlie's restaurant. Waitress.
Okay.
She made more money than we did, didn't she?
Yeah. She got tips.
Mm-hmm.
We to start with, we made 85 cents an hour.
That wasn't much.
What was like good money back then?
I didn't get that.
What was like, I don't know, like what would have been like a good hourly rate?
That was about it.
Okay.
I mean, we're of course we got a raise once in a while, but 5 cents,
Mhm.
and
Don't go too far.
Well, at the same point, everything was significantly cheaper too. So
Right. You could get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for 35 cents.
we sent money home to Dad and
Mhm.
Mom every week.
jeez.
How much did we pay for that room, sis? 15?
For the room,
Mm-hmm.
15 or 20, I don't remember.
That wouldn't even get you an hour, let alone a night.
Nope. But we were happy.
Mm-hmm.
We've lived together off and on ever since we've been born. Nellie said Mom probably made me babysit her when she was 2.
She probably did.
That's funny.
Yeah, we've looked out for each other forever,
That's good.
haven't we?
Yes, we have.
So how old were you when you got married, Aunt Nellie?
22.
Oh, okay. Now, how did you guys meet your husbands?
I'm sorry.
How did you meet Uncle Jimmy?
He worked at Thompson's,
Okay.
same place I did. And I rode the rope with him. She lived out on Bayard Road, and he lived out on Route 1 with his brother. And so he picked me up and took me to work.
Okay.
So that's the way we got started.
How did you meet Pop-Up Drex?
At church,
Okay.
little church, Methodist church down underneath as you go out of town. It's a little Methodist church down under the hill there. We went there for a little while, and then I went to the Baptist church
Okay.
out of Missionary. Baptist church where Bobby Vinoy preaches now. Then we went there to all our girls were grown up and married in his church.
Okay.
Robert married every one of them. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
You got any
And
good stories about when you were growing up? Any good stories about when you were growing up?
any good stories about it?
Yeah.
You want to hear the one where Mom beat me black and blue?
Sure.
She did too, didn't she, Nellie?
Yes, she did.
Well,
Worse
We
than
were
worse than right now?
yeah, much, all over, up and down. My legs were bruised.
For anybody listening to this in the future. My mom took a fall the other day and she's a little black and blue.
I was.
No one beat her. No elder abuse going on.
Nope. She didn't mean it, I'm sure, but she did at that moment, didn't she?
She did.
She said, okay, you're never supposed to lie to my mother. If you did, there's consequences. You already knew that up top. But okay, if here's the line, Ben, and my uncle's tree is actually on the left-hand side, but it falls over on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Would you say you could eat some of those apples that fell over there?
I believe in the eyes of the law, any branches that overhang are technically on your property. So
Right.
you can trim anything on that overhangs your property is in the eyes of the law.
Can I eat it?
In the eyes of the law, yes, it's on your property.
Okay. Well, not according to my mother. It was hanging over there, so she said, Nellie was sick. She was always sick. And She wasn't supposed to have any harsh stuff in her stomach, blah, blah, blah. And Mom said, how many did you eat?
I said, one,
What kind of tree was it?
an
Apple.
apple tree.
Okay.
But they were green. And she said, how many did you knock? I said, one. Lord, have mercy. She gave me a beating. She didn't hit Nellie. She didn't hit Barbara. She hit all of them on me. She got a stick, or a switch, she called it.
Mm-hmm.
About this big around, right, Nellie?
Yeah.
And
Quarter sized.
she beat me from the corner of that holler, my grandmother's house, all the way down to ours. I had big bruises everywhere. Nobody cared. Least of all my mother. I mean, she gave me, that's the worst whipping I ever got, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Very first one didn't hurt me, hurt my feelings.
I'm sure it hurt.
But I'm sure she'd known she was hitting me that hard, she wouldn't have. I don't think. Not exactly sure. What do you think, Nellie?
Probably.
Probably.
She probably would.
But I love my mother dearly.
I've heard some stories about your mother.
Every night she would get on her knees and call out each one of her children to the Lord and pray for them to be saved. Wouldn't she?
Yep.
Every night.
So you guys grew up going to church then?
Always.
Yeah. She probably carried us. We had to walk a mile and a half to church.
At least.
And on Sunday we went to Baptist church on Sunday morning, Methodist 2:00 in the afternoon, and Presbyterian on Sunday night. That's what we did on Sunday.
Hopping to every church around.
There was one, what do they call those? That scared Ronnie.
I don't know.
He called it a holy roly.
Holy roly.
I don't know what it was, but it scared him. If we even just picked up the songbook page and turned it over, we were in trouble. Unless they said turn to that page.
Mm-hmm.
You don't turn to that page.
Since we're talking church, when were you saved, Mom?
I think I was 9. Pretty sure I was 9. Got saved in the Baptist church. What was his name, Nellie? You remember that?
I can see his face, but I can't remember his name. He was a young preacher. When I got saved, I got saved at 12
Okay.
in the Baptist church.
Same church?
Yep.
Anyway, I got saved. Then I got baptized in the creek.
Yeah, it was cold.
I bet it was.
Yeah, it was right in front of Ann.
And
What was her last name?
was it Owens? No.
No. I forget her last name. She was a good friend to you.
You're right. She was my best friend. And then I got baptized in front of her house. And the rest is history. Been going to church ever since. And I love it. Wish I still could.
What? Anything else interesting happen in your life that you would want people, especially your grandkids and your great-grandkids, to know about years down the road? You know, that either they wouldn't know or, you know.
Well, they have good Christian parents, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't worry about that too much. But just that hold them as tight as you can, love them as much as you can, talk to them about the Lord as much as you can. because that's the most important thing,
Mm-hmm.
is to get them to know the Lord.
Definitely.
You have to keep iterating it and iterating it. And teach them that they have to teach their children. Otherwise, it'll be lost.
Yep. Well, we'll stop this if you don't have anything else. Unless you guys want to say anything else.
I don't know much else to say.
Except we love you. And Anna.
We all
and
love
the
you.
boys. Always remember.
No, they'll always be loved with us.
There's no question there. And we love you guys.